Hello everyone, welcome to the next Academy user session for ALM Octane. Today we have a very special guest and I'm really happy to have him here. He has been one of the first end user for ALM Octane and is very experienced here. Gerd Fladrich, welcome Gerd, nice to have you
Hello.
here.
Hi, Amir. Nice to see you.
Thanks for joining and really looking forward to your experience and your journey, what you have done. You have been an extensive user for ALMQC, so also looking here for some feedback from the user perspective. So, Gerd, let's get into it directly. Can we get a quick introduction about yourself, about your company, what you are doing, and also round about the responsibilities, roles.
Sure. Yeah. Amir, thanks. First of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to talk to you and to spread some of my little knowledge from over the year together with you. Yeah, for myself, yeah, as you said, Gerd Fladrich is my name. I'm a freelancer for now 16 years. So I have started 16 years ago. Quality in the quality area to work for different huge companies, some automotive companies, some insurance companies, also banking and aeronautics and so I have some experience in this area. Before that, I started 20 years ago with a company called Mercury Interactive, perhaps known by someone. Where I used to get used to tools like Load Runner, Test Director at this times, Quick Test Professional. So these are some nice old tools which are still in place with different names. So today it's an UFT and the Load Runner and ALM Octane now. What my favorite at the time is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what I've done over the last 20 years. And I'm still happy as a freelancer, and I'm still happy to help customers with any flavor of testing and quality management and so on. Especially in the area of test management, more and more in the Agile area, which I like more than the good old Waterfall, which doesn't mean that it's not still available, but yeah, it's going more and more Agile from my point of view.
Okay.
And yeah, I do also some test automation. Performance testing was something what I have done over the years from more and more. And yeah, again, now it's more this whole methods and quality processes which I bring into life into some companies.
Okay, cool. Can you give us some context around the last 5 years of projects you have been doing? I've heard out you have been working in Waterfall projects from the very past, and now more Agile, which is definitely your favorite now. So can you give us a rough insight on what were those projects you have been working?
Yeah, over the last 5 years, there was something like a big automotive company in Munich, as an example. Some perhaps knows this company. At this time being, it was more Waterfall, and I was working there with Quality Center especially, and was not that agile. It has changed with this company. Today, they're really a huge Octane customer, and I'm in contact with them, and they're very happy with that, what I know. And then I changed. So around about 4 years ago, I was then in a company from the banking area. Where they have started a greenfield approach, where they said, okay, we need some new methods. We would like to make our banking application lean and fast and more flexible, and we would like to have a continuous integration and continuous delivery process. And for that, we need, first of all, methods, and second of all, some tools. And so they asked me if I can support them to figure out what will be the best concept for them. And then we started there, and there I get used to Octane. So this is more or less 4 years ago. So I've never have seen it before. It was brand new to me. And they said, oh, here, have fun, sit down, have fun, let's have a look. There was no training, no nothing. And the good point was it's really main part self-explaining, that Octane. So if you know, Quality Center over the years and years can be a little bit tricky to figure out how this works, and it has some special things included where you have to know what to do, and you need some training or some more information about that. Octane is, for me, different. Octane is something when you have a quality background and you have some ideas in mind, is something where you can sit in front and just try it out. Just see how it works. And you need, first of all, the red line in the tool, which modules are available and what they are doing. But other than that, it's self-explaining. So this is something where you can start right from the scratch and say, okay, let's try out, create a test case, create the requirements, and so on. And that was a really good point in this project, that the tool was more or less easy. Yeah. The second part was with the methods, where we said, okay, Agile, what can it be? What will we use? We talked about SAFe as a process, so a scaled Agile framework, which we have used then. Then we figured out that BDD, so-called BDD, Behaviour Driven Development, this could be something what could be interesting and what could be good for the company and for the portfolio they have there. And then we tried it step by step. Maybe I can explain it a little bit later on with 2 slides, which I have prepared at the end of this presentation, if you like.
Yeah, sure.
To show something what we have done there. And this was this area. After that, I did this for a little bit more than 2 years with this banking company. Then I changed again for a half year in between to a semiconductor company. They built a new plant in Dresden, a brand new plant for a semiconductor, and they asked me there to bring them some approach and some ideas how to test such a complete plant and the semiconductor process. So this was quite tricky, and this was, unfortunately, again, Waterfall. We talked about Agile and so, but didn't look like it will fit there, and therefore we have created it again with Quality Center and with a complete Waterfall approach, which works also fine. So Waterfall is still not death for sure. And then 1 year ago, I was asked to help a big aeronautic company to set for a new product there, or to help them to set also new processes. More Agile was the plan, to have it Agile. And one of the premises was to use Octane. So we have compared it to other tools for sure, also other test management tools, but the main idea was that Octane will be a good solution, because they have there for many years and years HP and Micro Focus tools in place as like Quality Center, and so they are used to such tools, and therefore we preferred Octane. And what we're actually doing is that we have installed it in a production environment, and so that we are setting up now Octane to use it there for this new project, which is, let me say, a kind of airplane to build, which is really not Agile, because building an aeroplane is nothing what you do in seconds or in months.
Yes.
It took some years, and therefore we have built up this process more in a waterfall way, which is one of the benefits in Octane, that you are able to do both, that you can build up a complete waterfall method, and to have it all in place there. And you can, in addition, or also later on, when you decide I would like to have it more Agile, that you can switch and say, okay, let's go Agile, and put in some more things like user stories and epics and features, all the things what you know from Agile. You can put this in place in such a project and say, okay, let's carry on from a waterfall to Agile. So this is the idea there, but yeah, we stuck actually, well, not stuck. We are working with more waterfall. It's quite interesting, yeah. Completely different to a project which I have with this banking company, which was really Agile. It's now a new tool with the old method.
Oh, very cool. So I can see you have a broad experience, and I really enjoyed it when you talked about the waterfall experience moving towards Agile, and then you figured out a project where BDD might be helpful,
Mm,
yeah, which could
mm,
even improve the process. So really looking forward to that slide,
mm,
especially later on. But now you have been working on different methodologies and different projects and tools, and two tools have been with you, I think, the majority of time, like ALMQC, so Quality Center,
mm.
the more traditional way of working, and ALM Octane. So if you would compare both of them, what is what is your preferred solution, and what is the improvement you see in this
Mm.
preferred solution? Yeah?
Yeah, as I said, Quality Center is something what I know for now more than 20 years. And yeah, it could be a pain in the ass, sorry to say that, from time to
All good.
time, because it has really some tricky parts, but mainly I think it's still one of the best solutions on the market for waterfall projects.
Mhm.
There's nothing comparable. What I have seen over the years is like to try in Jira some test management or use Cfire or something like that. Now it's still really best of breed in the market for waterfall and classic quality processes.
Mhm.
It's solid, it's working, it's fine. Yeah, but times has changed, and I was very happy to see that there was something new on the market from HP at this time, and now from Micro Focus, which is now called Octane. And this is, yeah, it's a game changer for me. It's a complete game changer, but it's much more modern. It supports a complete agile process. It supports this BDD, this behavior driven development, with all these nice features, is like to write test cases in Gherkin and do test automation with Gherkin over other tools and so on. And it's much more flexible. Especially when you have collaborations with other colleagues, as like with
Mhm.
developers and product owner, business owners, some test engineers, and whatever you have in your project. And it helps really a lot to start the communication in between teams and persons. It's much, much easier than in Octane. You can
Mhm.
right away send out a message to someone or leave a notice in Octane, um, or mark someone with a tag, and he immediately get a message or a pop-up or an email where he knows I have something to do. Or you can work with all this emailing stuff. You can work much easier with workflows in Octane now. It's much easier to set up and
Mhm.
to support. So yeah, it's modern. It's nice. I really liked it. I will not sell it here. It's not my job. Yeah, I can sell you help in the project, but I'm not selling tools. And to make this clear, but I really like Octane, because it's,
Mhm.
yeah, I think will be it's one of the best tools on the market. Well, for test management, the best tool in the market,
Mhm.
and I've seen many. Yeah.
That's a great feedback, and yeah, actually also my favorite tool. So I'm really happy to hear this.
Mm.
So Gerd, tell me, you have been implementing now Octane on two different premises. So what were the different options customers use? So when you look at the Octane modules, what were the main modules they were using? Was it across all
Mm.
modules, or were you dedicated to specific modules because
Mm.
reporting was simpler, or how was the approach there?
Yeah, usually you have the whole thing in mind, that you say, okay, I'm starting with perhaps requirements, or you decide to import or synchronize requirements from other tools, but it's usually the starting point, whether you're working with Agile or Waterfall. Um, that's where the quality starts. So usually you have these requirements there in this module. Um, yeah, then for sure, writing test cases is, of course, I'm working in the quality area. Writing test cases is the most important in there, to have this transparent, how they cover the requirements and what the status of the test cases is, and if they are automated, that you see this is working, and you can have a daily update of your automated test in a nightly run, and so And this covers then the module with the pipelines, where you can bind other tools to it, like Jenkins, that you have Jenkins pipeline where you automate the test runs and you get the information straight into Octane. So these are the three modules I would like to say these are the most important.
Yeah.
All the other modules, as like if you use issue tracking, this is for sure also all the time the important thing, and you can sync this with Jira or any other tool on the market with this open API or with a synchronizer, and have it transparent and up to date all the time in any tools which you are working. So this is also important. And yeah, these are the main parts I think that are used. And then it depends if you're working Agile or Waterfall, what you carry on then with the other modules.
Thank you. So you have described beautifully about, all this collaboration which is happening in Octane with all these emails. If you tag someone on the comment, for a user or for someone who does not really know this collaboration system in Octane, can you maybe elaborate a bit further on how important it is or it could be for an organization to have such thing in place?
Yeah. One problem you have usually or sometimes in a project is that you can hardly communicate to others. You send out an email, and the other person reads an email and says, there was something, and I will deal with it tomorrow, and then it's out of mind, and then it's forgotten. In Octane, you have the chance to address it directly at the right place. So when as an example, I'm writing down a test case, and then I need someone who reviews this test case, and then I first of all can address it directly to him and address it as an owner to him, and he will get an email first of all, and he knows, okay, I have to do something on it. I have to do a review. Then you have this my work area, where you see all your tasks you have in one place. So if I open Octane, usually my first starting point is to go into the my work area and check, okay, what's up to me, what I do have to do. Do I have to write some test cases, or do I have to run some test cases? Or if I follow one item in Octane, I will see it immediately if something has changed there. So this is also a good way. Or I can address any information with an @ so I type in @ and give the name, @Amir, and write something down there, and then you get immediately information.
Yes.
That you have mentioned somewhere, and there's perhaps an information you need. And this helps really in a project, that you all the time up to date, that you can follow up easily, that you have one in place of information where you have everything in there. You know if a defect has changed, and you have to do something, or if there's a new task. You can address many tasks for a user story or for a defect in Octane. So you see it in a minute. You have an overview of whatever you have to do this day, and you can work it out and address it to someone else, and he is at the same time then also informed what to do. So this is a big plus for me in this tool.
Yeah, you mentioned about following. What is it? Is it similar to social media, or how can I, as someone who does not know Octane, how can I imagine what is following?
Yeah, it's really similar to what I don't know, Facebook or something, where you can follow something and say, okay, I would like to. I would like to see what's going on with this information in my social media. You can do a similar thing in Octane, where you say, okay, there is a point of interest for you, a defect or perhaps a test case or a result of a test case or whatever, where you say, I would like to take care of it, or I would like to know how it's going on, and then you press the follow button. And then you will be informed all the time if something is changing there, and you see it also in the My Work area. So it's really pretty handy to have something like that. You can unfollow it also when you say, oh, it's boring, the same old test case all the time. And then you can get rid of it, but you can place it.
It's a great way to keep track on items which are important to you. So
Absolutely.
yeah, really nice. Gerd, tell me about the collaboration, because all this adoption and the whole experience you gained for ALM Octane, how was the collaboration with the Microfocus Octane team?
Mhm.
Um,
Yep. This
can
was
you
a
describe how it
sure.
worked?
Yeah. Yeah, this was one of the big pluses over the last couple of years now. Yeah, we had this experience over the time. When I started with Macro Interactives, this was a really cool company. Everyone was helping, and it was really open-minded there, and I loved this company really. I know many colleagues from these good old times there, and we are still connected and so on. And this was really helpful and still helpful to know them. Then came HP. HP is a good company, not a question. But my feelings was that something was changing at this
Mm,
time there, and to get perhaps more professional on one hand, but also a little bit, yeah, it was not so easy to get informations and to work together with this company if you had a problem or questions and so on. And this has changed now with Microfocus, and yeah, I think the old spirit comes back a little bit. Yeah, it's much closer. You have many possibilities to talk to them, as like you have different communities, or you have one big community, which is really lively.
mhm,
There are many discussions are in there where you can ask questions, where you can raise new ideas, which I like very much, and you can like them. And when you have enough ideas for something, it will be become into the tool and so on. This is something what is really useful. Also, the support is working fine or better now, and then easy to reach and fast answers and so on. And other things like there's what is called the design partner meetings. This is something what is really useful, where some from the company explain what ideas they have, what they would like to build up, and ask the customers, hey, is this fine for you? Do you have any other ideas about that? Do you like this? And so on. And there's really communication in between Microfocus, all the guys there, and the partners and the customers. So this
mhm.
is, yeah, this has changed and it's good.
Yeah, so this is also a feedback I receive from other customers, that the Octane DPP Design Partner Program is something which they enjoy. But can you describe how does it work? Is it a closed group? Is it taking place on a go-to webinar, or how is it?
Mm.
How do you join it?
Yeah, I was invited to this group. With my work with my actual customer, and I was invited there. And yes, this is I think it's a closed group, yeah. But I
Yes.
think also everyone is invited who is interested and can take part. And yeah, it's a WebEx where they show these informations, and where you can also raise your hand or ask questions or write it down and so on. And really useful to know, okay, what's going on, what will be next, what is planned for the future, and that you have a chance as a customer to say something about that if you like it or not.
Mhm.
Because it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Um, Now to your personal favorites, Gerd. What is your, or you can also name multiple features.
Mm.
What are your features you would like to promote? Why
Mhm.
do you love Octane?
Yeah, there are plenty of features which I like. But one of my favorites is this BDD, which I have mentioned before, this behavior driven development, and the chances you have in the tool in Octane to to put it in place and to work with it. This is really something I have shown on different groups and so on, and I have some slides for that. And this is really my favorite, because this changes also the life of a tester or of a quality manager. In
Mhm.
the past, the quality manager or a tester was something, there's also a tester, and yeah, we have to live with them, especially the developers and others say, yeah, we have to test because it's important, but it was not all the time that you're the best buddy in the project as a tester.
Mhm.
And
That's
this
true.
has also changed with BDD, because it's more together. that you talk to the developers, that you talk to the product owner and to the business people, and that you have an early chance to dive into it. So if you like, I can show 2 slides.
Yes, I would be very excited to watch it.
So let's see if it works here. I have to share my screen.
Perfect.
That's good. If you do not have a mirror. Okay, can you see my slide now?
Yes, I can see it.
Perfect, that's great. Okay, this is a short explanation about what is BDD and Gherkin. As I said, BDD is Behaviour Driven Development. This is something what describes a behavior of a application. So if you have any application, and you start to develop it and you start to getting ideas about your application or application areas in there, you describe it, how it should behave from, as an example, from a customer point of view. So me as a customer, I would like to log into an application, and after I have write in my right user ID and password, I'm logged in and I'm then on the starting page. So this is a description of a behavior. And this behavior-driven development does start all actions in a complete continuous integration and continuous delivery process from this behavior point of view. And this will be described in a language, this behavior, which is called Gherkin. What is Gherkin? Gherkin is something what is using the explanation given, when, then. Whatever you describe will be written down starting from a requirement with what is given, so what needs to be there to get a result. When, also if I do something, when I do something, so type in username and password, then something happens, I'm logged in. So this is an example on the left-hand side here, a very simple example. So this is something what can be written down by a product owner or a business owner who is describing what he would like to have as a new feature. And you see here in the middle is these are the 3 Amigos. This is a common name in this overall BDD approach, which says these 3 peoples are talking together from the start on. It means in the moment of time, the product owner has decided, I would like to have a new feature. He will write it down in a requirement with this given, when, then. And then immediately he started to talk to a developer and a tester what they thought about it. So you set up a meeting and show them what your idea is and what you would like to have. And then the developer and the tester can say, okay, from a development point of view, we need here some more informations, or can't be done because it can't be programmed in the right way, or the tester says, okay, to have it later on automated, I need also some more informations in there, and then the PO can describe it, or can carry on with the description and the requirement, that everyone understands it, what is requested there. So this is requirement, this is written down. Yeah, Amir, you have a question?
Yes, I have a small question. So this Gherkin syntax, do I understand correctly that this is removing the whole translation from a document? If, let's say, normally a requirements is written, this needs to be translated into a technical document for a developer to understand, then it needs to be translated into a test document for a tester to understand and write test cases. So is my assumption correct that this Gherkin syntax is readable for everyone in the same manner?
Correct. Yeah, that's the main point. Yeah, if you do it in the right way, you can use even the requirement description in Gherkin, also the user story description and the test case in the same wording. Also, you can reuse whatever you have written down. So if the product owner has written this Gherkin in a good way, me as a test manager or as a tester, I can write down or use this description as a test case. This sounds a little bit strange in the beginning, where you say, how should this work? But it's working. If there's any interest, I can dive in another session to that. But that's something what is really working.
Yeah.
So that keeps you some time where you do not have to rewrite it again, and that you have to understand all the time, yeah, what does a PO meant with this information or with this technical document. No, since you're starting from the scratch directly with the other colleagues together, you're all the time aware what it is all about, and you can read it easily in this given when then sentence.
Okay, cool.
Right. So if you have the requirements, and you carry on to write down a user story. So we're talking about Agile here, and the whole continuous integration and continuous delivery process, where you then start to write user stories. User stories are the working description for, in this case, for a developer, that he knows what to do, what he has to program. All these informations are stored within this user story. At the very same time, the tester can then start to write test cases, or takes his gherkin from the requirement and put some more informations perhaps in there, like variables and other informations he can add, and then he has his test case. Right from there, you can start with test automation, and the good thing is you still can use given when then for test automation. So there are some tools which can interpret this given when then, and then you can easily do a test automation with the same sentence. So it's still the same naming conventions, the same language. Yeah, so you do the test automation, and even though you can run this also as a manual test, but you can have a test automation with Gherkin. Then you run the test, even though manual or automated, and you will have the results out of these test runs again in Gherkin. It's also then the result describes it also with this given when then what has happened, and this will be at the same time then the documentation. So the whole circle you see here is all the time the same language and describes all the time the very same. That means when you print out all your test results at the end, you will have a complete, perfect world. It's not all the time perfect, but it's close by. But in a perfect world, you will have, when you printed it out, a complete documentation of your application or of your requirement. And that's really a good point on it.
And if things changes, it is updated all roles, right? So all the owners are notified if things change.
Yeah. They get informed and they know, okay, something has changed. Or even at the end, when the documentation comes back to the requirement, because they are binded in Octane, so they are linked together, the PO can check the documentation or the test result and sees if the result does reflect his requirements still, or if something has changed over the circle. Perhaps someone has written something different in his test case or in the user story, and the result will be changing then. And you see at the very end as a PO, something is wrong. And you can ask, and you can go back the whole circle and check where the change has happened or what has happened, or did you miss something? And then you can either change the requirement and say, okay, the requirement has changed, or you can change the test or the user story. So you're all the time fully aware of your process and what's happening in there. And this is really, from my point of view, fantastic. I like this.
Yeah, definitely.
So one other slide which describes it, the same thing a little bit more technically. It's the same circle with some more information. So it's starting again with requirements, and at this time I will put some tools which we have used in this banking project. These tools can change. This I will explain when I show it. Here on the left-hand side, down there, I have some different colors for the 3 Amigos which are working, and it will be shown also here in this circle later who's working on what. So with the requirements, if you have a requirement tool like doors, you can write your requirements in there and synchronize them with Octane. And you will have all the information then in Octane. If you're using Gherkin, this will not work really works in doors, but you can write this in Octane. And this is the job of the business owner in this case. Then next step is create a story, the user story, as I explained before. And in this project, we have decided, okay, we have some developers who likes Jira more. Surprise, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided then, okay, let's work the developers in his tool, or because they usually like to work with what they know, and that's fine. Of course, you can also synchronize here with Octane, and you can have the same information in both tools, and you can synchronize this in both directions, so you will not miss any informations, and everyone from the project is happy to work in his tool. Well, when you have the user stories, then you can start right away with the test definition in Octane, where you can use this Gherkin sentences and as I explained before, add some more information to it. Then we start with the development phase. So we have our test cases and we have our user stories, and then the developer starts, and they usually have their own tools. In this case, the IDE was IntelliJ, can be also Visual Studio or Eclipse as a tool where you can work in. And the good point is there are some add-ins for Octane for these tools. It means in IntelliJ, then you have an add-on where you can see what is addressed to you. So me as a test manager, I address a test case to a developer that he can do the test automation in his IntelliJ and do not have to change in Octane. So our developers has been very seldomly in Octane, but they have had all the informations in their tool, so they don't have to switch, but still get all the informations as like test cases, defects, and so in his tool. So what we have done then is that we, at the same time as the developer starts to develop something, we can do also some test automation. There we had a decision what tools we would like to use. There are many tools. We decided to use Cucumber as an interpreter. Cucumber takes this given when then and puts this into a machine readable language, which is still at the end given when then, but it helps. And then you have a tool. In this case, it was Test Cafe, but it can be also LeanFT, or is this what is the name now?
You have the developer, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's changing from time to time. Can be also Protractor, Jasmine, Selenium. There are many tools on the market, and they all can be used here for the test automation. So it's not necessarily that you have to have the Micro Focus tools, but you can have also some others. So that's the cloud we have here, where we do a development test automation all at the same time. And my experience was at the very first time for me that the developers has been very happy to do the test automation. They can't wait from time to time to get a new test case and ask me, hey, can you send me some test cases? I would like to automate them because it gives me such a good time to have all my stuff tested automatically with test cases. Then this works fine.
So you would say it was the whole BDD methodology which has brought the development more closer to the team, or?
Yeah. Definitely, and other way around, also the testers more closely to the team, so in both directions. And this was really, refreshing for me to see that this works, and that you have a clear process which is working, and that you have your test automation in a very early stage in place. This was a good experience. So I think we're running out of time a little bit. I have to hurry on.
Yes, no problem.
When you did the test automation, then you can plan the test runs. Usually, you are then using Jenkins, where you create some jobs to run the automated tests. Also, usually done by the developers, which do this job creation. Can be also done by a quality engineer for sure. Depends on your team. So you set up then there a set of automated tests, which then run perhaps every night as a nightly job or a daily job, or if you have a new branch, then you decide to run a couple of tests automated to figure out if this branch was correct and so on. And this is working out of the box, also with plugins for Octane, which send then the informations from these test runs, the results, etc., back to Octane. So then you will have all reports back in Octane. So what happens before here with IntelliJ and when you save all the tests in Git, etc., this is not bind to Octane, but it comes back to Octane over the pipeline later on. So you will not lose any information about these test runs. So after the run in Jenkins, you can do your defect tracking if you find something. In our case, we have also used Octane and Jira again, where we said, okay, we have all defects or issues in both tools, and they are synchronized in both directions, so bidirectional, and then you can carry on working in both tools at this time. Then you have a central reporting, as I said, over the pipeline. All the information from the tests come back to Octane, and also you have all the results from manual tests and so on, all centralized in Octane, and then you can create nice reports in there which shows you where you are and if you have somewhere any quality problems and so on. And then the last point here in this circle is, again, this living documentation, as I mentioned with the slide before. When you print out all the results of the given when-thens, then you have at the same time, in the best case, really a documentation which you can compare then again with requirements. This brings you back to the circle here where you say, okay, a requirement is fulfilled. I have done all my test cases, and this requirement can then be closed. Or you figure out, okay, I have some changes, then you can start with the circle again. So this is in a nutshell the whole process.
This is a really lovely slide and great experience what you have shared here. So this is the first time I got experience from someone who was working in a real BDD project. So thank you for this. Also the nice slide you presented, very well done. So thank you for all your input, and I think there might be a request from the community, so we can have a separate session on this BDD.
Yeah,
so
I would like to show. I would like to show if there's some interest. Also, if someone has any questions or something to me, yeah, feel free to find me in LinkedIn or in Xing and all the other tools, or contact me directly. I'm happy to help and to answer questions also there.
Yeah, maybe I can quickly, if you don't mind, Gerd, I will quickly share my desktop
sure.
and show how to contact you. So here we can see this is the homepage of Gerd Fladrich. So you just go to fladrich.de, click on contact, and then you have all his information. You have his social media for the business sites, as well as here the contact details. I really like this one. Yeah. You can just scan and you have the whole contact details saved in your mobile. So really very nice. Thank you again, Gerd. So this was a fantastic session. I really enjoyed every minute. Thanks for sharing all the experiences, and looking forward to see more from you and collaborate. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. It was also a pleasure to me to share some of my knowledge, and it would be great to see you again soon and sometimes.
Definitely. So let's stay in touch. Thank you.
For sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.